What is up, Heisters? Noli here, and welcome to another Payday 2 video. Making up for lost time in this one, not only am I going to be reviewing the Judge gun, which was added in a very recent update, I'm also going to be announcing two giveaways. First of all, the giveaway which is happening right now is the Gauge Mod Courier DLC. All you have to do to be in with a chance to win that is comment on this video, the same as the last giveaway was. Comment on this video, let me know you want to win it, make sure it's clear, and I will add you to my metaphorical hat that I carry around with me, and the draw will be in a couple of days. The second announcement, and the one I know a lot of you may be more excited for, is the DLC, the Gauge Shotgun Pack. I'm going to be giving that away next week. I know how popular that was. It was the most recent DLC, and anyone who's a shotgun lover such as myself would definitely love to pick up this DLC. On to the Judge gun, the main topic for this video. Is it viable? Yes. Do people love it? Yes. Do people despise it? Absolutely. Where do I stand on this one? I love it. I think it's really good. I'm a big fan of the Death Wish difficulty, and this thing is the Thanatos of the shotguns. The Thanatos, if you don't understand that analogy, isn't really worthwhile on easier difficulties, seeing as how it's essentially the bulldozer gun. But on Death Wish, it's almost essential you have someone carrying it. The Judge, while it isn't a bulldozer destroyer, it's going to one-shot almost every other enemy up to Death Wish, which is huge. Really powerful. My Judge right now has 133 damage. You can get that up to 143 with the right mods. It doesn't need it. It's so strong. It doesn't need you to pile the damage on much more than it already has. So let's first of all take a look at the pros and why I love it, and then I will explain why people absolutely despise it and are shouting at overkill for giving them a load of rubbish. So this thing reloads all of its shots at once, which feels a bit of a necessity, really. The only other gun that I can think that does that is the IZ, as far as the shotgun category is concerned. That will reload all of its rounds in its magazine at once, and it means that you don't necessarily need shotgun perks to wield this thing. Normally you need a reloading skill with a lot of these single shot reloaders, but with this, it's a viable secondary for someone who doesn't carry shotgun skills. It's got enough damage behind it to carry it through. So, seeing as how it has 95 base, I see it as the perfect hybrid gun. The set that best screams to mind to me is the sort of utility technician and ghost build. One of my favourite builds for leveling up. It faces situations really well. You have an answer to everything. You have your ECM overdrive, you have your lock picking, and you have your shape charges. The issue with it though is you don't really spec into any sort of weapon type. You don't favour anything. You're a jack of all trades essentially, unless you want to go into the SMG skills in Ghost, which I wouldn't advise. I personally am not a fan of the SMGs and think they're the weakest weapon category. I know some do enjoy using them though. But the Judge fills this role perfectly. It hits so hard, and as long as you don't hamper it too much by lowering its ammo with special ammunition types, it still has 20 rounds. That is basically 20 kills plus whatever you pick up off the floor. And like I said, seeing as how you don't need the reload perks, it's not really an object. It's not a problem. You can definitely run this shotgun. Shotguns on the whole tend to be a little bit worthless without their perks. The reason for that is that the shotgun perks are so strong on the whole. They really improve them greatly, so they are at a slightly lower base for that reason. The Judge doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like it requires anything more to puff up its damage. As far as accuracy and stability are concerned, they're sort of standard shotgun values, 6 and 4 for me right now. Concealment isn't really an object. You're not going to be sneaking behind people with this. You're going to be facing them head on. And threat, it's a shotgun, relatively high. So, now to look at the downsides. Actually, before I do that, let's quickly look at the rate of fire. 500. That's huge. That's more than you'd ever need. And I'm actually going to call this a slight downside. I'd be much more comfortable if the Judge fired just a little bit slower. This sort of it creates an attitude where, oh, quickly, shoot out my 5 shots. You can essentially fire all 5 in a second, and when you only carry 20 ammo at base, you're going to be out of ammo in 10 seconds. That doesn't sound like fun, and that's what the rate of fire encourages you to do. Keep in mind, this thing is so strong, you're not going to need more than one shot for most guys. Take your shots with precision, and imagine you're using a sniper rifle. And that moves me on, actually, before, again, I go to the cons. It's actually not bad at range at all. High explosive or flechette improve it even further. But at range, this gun, because it has such a high starting damage drop-off does not hurt it the same as it does other shotguns. Finally, I can get into the reason why people hate this thing. Ammo capacity. And it really is just ammo capacity. And the magazine size isn't excellent, but seeing as how you can reload it all at once, it's not too bad. It's 20, as I said, at base. That would be fine if you picked up an ammo per kill. You don't. Without the fully loaded perk, you're not going to get one ammo for a kill. So, if you're using this as a secondary to a hybrid build, it's not economical at all. You're going to be losing out every shot. Every kill you make, every round you fire, you're going to be losing out unless you're hitting collaterals. And they're so few and far between, I can't really count it in as a factor. So you're going to be losing out on ammo. But if you're using this as a primary weapon, which I don't imagine many people have fully tried yet, but if you're a sort of niche engineer with some sort of speed and melee build, enforcer, it's definitely viable like that. I have 25 ammo on this thing without any special ammunition types, and with the fully loaded perk, I can sustain this well enough, especially on missions like Rats, where you're going to be holding down 1 point. Just sitting on a staircase as things walk up, no, and just one-shotting shields on Death Wish from the side, launching them across a corridor is immensely satisfying. And this gun is perfect for that. It's enjoyable to use, and at this stage in the game for me, that is why I look for often more so than efficiency. So that's the Judge's major drawback. It runs out of ammo so quickly, and again, with that fire rate, you can be tempted to fire it all out at once. Are ammunition types worthwhile? I've already said flechette and high explosive can give you some real range options, but just looking at AP and high explosive, you're without any perks going to be cutting your ammo in half. -10, that means you have 10 shots. You can run out of ammo in about 5 seconds with that. It's ridiculous. It almost feels like a comedy weapon when you're messing around like that, but just keep in mind, it's a single fire rifle. It's not a spamming shotgun like the Street Sweeper. Similarly, the buckshot's going to lose -6, and I don't feel the extra damage is needed, as I said before. But the flechette, be cautious with that. I don't like losing damage on this gun, and while it has an abundance, -15 might put you below thresholds. As we always say in the Payday community, it's not about what the damage number is, it's which thresholds do you pass. Can you get the one-shot headshot? Can you get the one-shot body shot? Be cautious with the flechette. It would need more testing, but I don't feel like it's worth it. As far as attachments are concerned, now I have tested these. The shock tooth nozzle, which I always stand behind, plus 10 damage, I don't feel is necessary on this weapon. I did not feel like I was killing things any faster than I would otherwise, and that negative to accuracy, despite a little bit of plus to stability, is going to hurt you. You're going to miss more than you previously hit, and probably end up doing less DPS because of it. The King's Crown Compensator, on the other hand, is a really viable choice. The concealment doesn't matter, the threat is fine, and the additional accuracy and slight damage is just as comfortable, and I will choose that over it almost every single time. Gadget wise, totally up to you. I tend to avoid them, and I don't think this thing necessarily needs a sight unless you want it to look silly, which, you know, sometimes we do. It's a very viable gun in the right hands, in the right build. Remember, fully loaded is huge for this thing, otherwise you're going to be running one of the least economical guns in the game. But like I said, it is the Thanatos. Keep an eye out on it for Death Wish. Definitely think about running it as a secondary for your hybrid, non-weapon based builds. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you all in the next one.